So you look at the history of batons, you know, the wood stick was a staple of law enforcement, right? It was a very effective tool. It had that mass, but it was very inconvenient. It banged on the officer's leg, so it ended up getting left on the motor inside the vehicle the majority of the time. Then out came the lightweight expandable batons, which were very convenient, but we lost a little bit of that effectiveness because we lost some mass in the baton. So what we've done is we've married the best of both worlds. This is the next generation of expandable batons, the Peacekeeper RCB. And the biggest difference is our weight distribution. I'm not here to knock any other manufacturers. We put the weight of our baton in the nose rather than on the handle. If you want to get it done in 1 or 2, you need the weight out on the periphery of the arc. That's where you're going to get that higher kinetic energy yield. So what this does is allow even the smaller stature officer to be able to create more energy with less swing because the weight is out here on the arc. Now you'll notice we also have a flat broad end cap made of case-hardened Rockwell steel. We won't get any of the burring or any of the pitting that you'll get in some of the other batons like softer metals that can collect bloodborne pathogens and other debris that you're carrying on your belt all the time. Also, we have the end cap is flat because with our baton, we can utilize jabs. We bring close quarters back to an expandable, which we lost with some of the smaller ones because of perforation in the body or the chance it's going to collapse on you in the middle of an altercation. We don't have that issue. In comparison with this brand, you'll notice that the tip is recessed. So the only way to open it is by gravity to the sky to the ground. Our tip is not recessed. So we have a secondary method of opening is if you end up in a confined space, you can simply pull up on the tip of the baton and expand it without having to have the distance or the height and worrying about who's behind you. So we have that capability. We go back to an 1.25 inch diameter handle tube. It's the same diameter as your standard wood straight stick. The larger the handle tube, the more skin you get on the baton and the better grip you get. It's like when you do a pull-up and you use a bar that's too skinny, you really can't use all the muscles of your forearm to hang on. But you find that bar with just the right grip, then you're more likely to retain your baton in the middle of a competition instead of having it fly out of your grip during training or during an altercation. Now, if you look at this baton right here, you'll hear the lathe marks. The way we make these batons, we put them on a CNC machine and we create these primary strike tubes on a lathe. We start from larger pieces of steel and we mill them down. So we have the same wall thickness all the way through. We don't use heat to create these tapers. Every time you use heat and you stretch metal, the walls thin out and the batons can be susceptible to bending. So we have that lifetime warranty against bending or breaking. If you bend or break the baton, we send you a brand new baton. You wouldn't bang on the baton systems on the ground without that worry that it's going to be bent or broken or ball bearings are going to go flying everywhere. Now I'll demonstrate on the numjaw the ability to jab with the baton without the fear, obviously, of it collapsing in the middle of an altercation. This is obviously less forgiving than a human body would be.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? It means that the officer can now carry a baton on his belt that they can also use to expand and move crowds, create a scrimmage line, without having to go back to the war bag and get that other stick. So it's got that multi-function advantage. We have a variety of holsters that some of you may already be familiar with. We got the ballistic nylon. Also, we got plain leather, basket weave leather. This is one of our newer products, the Secure Lock rotational holster. Now, this was my old holster when I was on the job. And every once in a while, as I got out of a car, I'd get caught on the seat belt, it would dump my baton out on the ground. There's no retention. You know, I like the idea that I was able to rotate it. The problem was it would spin around, I'd lose my baton in a foot pursuit, or just getting out of the car. What Peacekeeper has done is they got a patent pending on this push lock design. Push a button, locks in place, 30, 60, even 90 degrees, either direction. So if you choose to wear it in a cross-drop position, you can have it on the left or on the sides. But what I like the most is the ability to... We've got this ramping system in the bottom. Once you seat the baton, less likely to fly out of the holster if the officer goes inverted. And all our holsters are open on the bottom, or with the flip of a snap, they're open on the bottom. And that's so it can receive the weapons in the open mode. Especially if you need to transition different weapon system, escalation, de-escalation, you have the capability on your belt. Instead of putting it under your arm, through your Sam Brown, and in the sat pocket on the ground, behind the leg, it belongs in your hands, or belongs in the holster on your belt so you can use it in weapon systems. So we try to address a lot of the concerns in law enforcement as far as batons go. One of the most recent things that was done is there was an independent study done by the Florida Gulf Coast University's Weapons and Equipment Research. Dr. Meslow does a lot of studies with the National Institute of Justice, body armor, pepper spray, all law enforcement products to see whether they meet particular standards. They did a study on side handle batons, expandable batons, as well as straight sticks, wood, polycarbonate, and metal. Our baton outperformed everything on the market. We're putting out between 16 and 17 G's of kinetic energy transfer. They only studied our 24 and our 26. So what that means is the smaller stature officer is creating more energy with less swing.
Or a tired, really in shape guy who's tired or is in the middle of a fight,
right.
Less energy.
It's a force multiplier for those. And we've got more questions?
Thank you very much for your time.
No problem.